that's good though. Great bands are the ones that complement each other, where somebody does something that the other one can't. I'd imagine they can't write the psychotic rhyme that you can when it comes to the lyrics. I mean, like, I don't know whether to go into like the live or the lyrics. I've always been sort of I've always loved your lyrics, like because there's so much depth and narrative to them, and then you'll throw in like a phrase where you've never seen. Almost every song you've got, there'll be two words that have never been put together in a song before, which I quite like. Like it doesn't feel like you're treading over old ground.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I try, I think that the vocal melodies, I play guitar and I play piano, but I don't you're never gonna catch me taking like a 10-minute guitar solo. You're never gonna like I just don't I'm not like a musician in that way. Like I always play the only reason I play the instruments is so that I can write the songs
Mm-hmm.
and perform them. So um yeah, I don't know. I just don't being like some kind of virtuoso or it's just not really that much of interest to me, but writing like vocal melodies that are catchy and interesting, and even though I have a fucked up voice, like trying to use it as best as I can. And like I love I love singing, I love screaming, I love all the elements of that. Like that's kind of like my musicality. And then um but I guess my real, my most real kind of passion is, writing the words and coming up with things that are interesting to hear, because that's a lot of the music that you know the
I think
music
you
that's
you take a lot of inspiration from what you're reading at the time, and where you're out and about, like, and people's conversations that you're having, right?
yeah, I think like, to me it's always kind of like picking up little pieces. I always think of it as like, you're walking around every day and you might hear just a snippet of someone's conversation that like piques your ears. And then if you can remember that little phrase, or yeah, you're reading something or you're watching a movie or you're whatever, there's like there'll be some little thing that like will stick in my brain. And I try to like, you know, collect those as I go around. And then I don't quite know how they like will come out in a song. It's not like there's nothing very like mathematic about it. It's very much
It's just creativity, really. It's flow.
yeah, it's like still like a mystery to me, which I actually appreciate. Like I'm glad that like the mystery's not gone. I know that like if I have like a life experience or I see something in life that affects me, it's not going to come out in a song the next day. It's going to come out in a song probably 3 years from then, and
Wow.
I'll have like totally forgotten about it. Like it'll be living in like the little storage room in my brain, and then like someday, like, whatever that stuff, magical stuff in my head, it'll bring up that old box like out of the basement, and it'll like set it there, and it'll be like, remember that? Remember how that? Remember
It,
how
that
that felt?
that also sounds quite harrowing, because it feels like I have to relive some shit, like quite all the time. Like, but I mean, we all have it. Like, it's the
Yeah.
equivalent of going to bed and going, I'm gonna have a real nice night's sleep tonight, and then remembering something you did from 9 years ago and sitting there wide eyed open, freaking out for an hour.
Absolutely.
Um,
Yeah.
I was thinking, right, like, how many albums have you been attached to, in terms of like how many have you written and been on at this stage? This has just come to me now.
Whoa.
Because, like, it
Well,
must be a lot. Like, there mustn't have been a 2-year period where you haven't released something or been a part of something. And then,
yeah, I mean, you definitely have to count them up. I mean, I think there's, there's 10, I think there's like 10 or so Bright Eyes records, not to mention like EPs and shit. And then there's, probably one, two, three, 4, 5, 6. There's probably like 6 solo albums. There's 2 Desperacidos albums.
16, 18.
There's
Yeah, I
there's
mean,
the
it's
the album with the album with Phoebe. And there's the album with Monsters of Folk. I don't know, man. It's
it's like
like
crazy,
way
crazy
too,
numbers.
way
Like,
too. a lot of been on a lot of albums.
what's your favorite solo record? I can't pick my favorite Bright Eyes record because I've got a couple, but I know really solidly which my favorite solo record is because it's like a complete record.
Um,
What's
whoa,
yours?
uh, shit. I don't know. I honestly, I'm really like, I mean, I don't feel like it's like a popular opinion, but I feel like I'm pretty proud of the last little run of records because, you know, uh, in 2014, I made Upside Down Mountain and worked on that record really hard. I had just signed to like this label, None Such, and I was essentially trying to make like I don't know, like Here I Am, like Paul Simon, like classic, like, you know, that record's like kind of slick, but I think it's actually like a pretty dope record if you like listen to it.
Hmm.
And then and then um and then I made Paola with Desperacidos in like 2015, which was, like the most overtly political record I ever made. Like, we signed Epitaph and it was like just, kind of straight to the bloodstream pop punk political music, and no one gave a shit. Like literally
That,
like no one cared.
that record
um
that record kind of fucked you up a little bit though, that wasn't it? Like, cause that record was the one where you had to stop the tour because you had like laryngitis and anxiety and exhaustion,
y-
things like that.
yeah, yeah, turns out it's hard to play that level of like energy every night. I mean, I can't blame it all on that, but yeah, that kind of sidelined me. And then the next record I made was myself at a piano with a harmonica, Ruminations, which was like totally like not even supposed to be a record. It was just, I mean, talk about like polar opposite of
Yeah.
the Despacito situation. Just couldn't be more different. It was like me like alone, literally in this room
The
playing this piano over here. And
next,
then I got to make Salutations, which was like so fun, or so it's very fun for me because I got to have the Felice Brothers, which are like my favorite band, and I got to have Jim Keltner, who's like the most classic drummer who like produced it with me. And that was like, I don't think people really cared about that record either, but like to me that was
I
like
doubt it, man. Like that
an,
record was good. Like I like that one.
that one made me happy because I was like getting to play with like all my favorite musicians.
Mm.
And then doing the Better Oblivion stuff with Phoebe was the next thing, which was like totally kind of out of left field, but that was super magical, just because I love her so much and she's such a great songwriter. And that was like a totally new experience that I didn't see coming really.
It's super
So
sweet, like seeing it as well,
yeah.
because like the shared respect that you can see on stage and you can hear on
Mhm.
record is like you can hear your songwriting in Phoebe's first album, and you can tell that you've been an influence on her, but like you can also see how much energy that she gives you as well. Like so, like there's this like perfect 50-50 balance in the
Oh,
group.
totally. I mean, she's you know she's one of my best friends in the whole world. And um yeah, I couldn't
Did she ever
I
tell you? Did she ever tell you the story about the time she shat herself on stage in London? That was
she did.
my club night. She told me that. She told me that, and I'd never. She like I had no idea on the night. I had no idea until she told me. She told me a couple of months ago, and I think I sat in my kitchen like after the podcast had finished, like I'd had PTSD. I was looking off into the distance, like I can't believe Phoebe Bridgers shat herself on my night.
She has told me that story. Yeah. Hey, happens to the best of us, you know, sometimes.
Have you shot yourself on stage at any point in the?
I have been like, I probably have like, you know, I'd have to like circle back with her and see, you know, what level we're talking about. But I've definitely like shat myself a little bit, and
Just a nugget.
I've I've definitely like thrown up behind the amps, and I've had to like run off stage to like be sick or like find a restroom. I mean, it just happens. It's like there's a lot of sometimes like when you're traveling, you're not that healthy, you're kind of nervous, you know, a lot of
Yeah.
stuff can go down. So
If you're on stage for
not
two
no,
hours a
no
night, that's
yeah.
that's a 1/12 of the day that you have to be not sick on stage for. That's quite a lot.
Right. It's like it's no shame in that
No
game, you
shame,
know.
no shame, no shame
Yeah.
at all. So like we got the Bright Eyes record. It's coming out like very very soon. Friday, is it?
Friday.
Friday, yeah. Um, man, all the best with it. Like seriously, like I'm absolutely stoked that Bright Eyes are back, releasing music, and I'm just following like a little musical disciple of whatever shit you decide to drop next. Like so, like yeah, whatever polka record it is that you've got coming in 2021, I'll be there.
Cool. Well, I got my only last question for you, Philip, is like, do you think I'm an asshole?
No, I definitely don't think you're an asshole. Do you think I'm an asshole?
No, I think you're lovely. I think you're a
Yes.
beautiful man. All right.
Fist,
Bap.
fist bump
All
that
right.
shit.
All right.
You've made my day, Connor.
Uh,
Have a good rest of the day, and good luck with the record on Friday.
all right. Love you, buddy. You get some sleep. All right.
Cheers, man.
We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Peace.